Oh, hello everyone. It's Susie from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're all well, looking after yourself, looking after your family and friends, looking after your putty cats, looking after all your important animals, just being kind to people in the world to make this a better place. I thought we'd just quickly look at fiat markets and also the cryptocurrency markets. As you know, I did a YouTube on the trade wars between China and America, and that got markets going on Friday night. The Dow was up on Friday night, and then it basically collapsed after Trump came out and said that he basically there should be more, essentially more tariffs on China, and that American companies shouldn't actually trade with China. So as you know, the Dow was down over 2.3%, down 6.23. Every other market followed suit. S&P was down 75 points or 2.5%. NASDAQ was down 3%. Small caps got hit fairly hard as well, 3%. Tech's down 3%, as well as other markets overseas as well. We did see a sea of red. Nikkei today has been down 2%, which is the Asian time zone. Australia was down 1.27% today. New Zealand down 1.28. The Shanghai index as well is down 1.711%. So you do want to keep an eye on these markets, the Chinese market particularly, and the Shenzhen and the Shanghai, because these markets got get the Asian markets going down quite substantially as well if these things do go down. Hong Kong also is down 1.91%. Even though if we look at futures going forward, futures did come back a little bit. So if you look at the American market, stock futures are up 225 at the moment. So the Dow is up 225 from Friday night. S&P is up 22. The NASDAQ's come back about 84. So they've come back at nearly 1%. The small caps come back, nearly 1% as well. The VIX did go off about 20%. So the VIX was, at its lows about 12. It's now at 19. Got to a high of 21. Excuse me. It's now at 19. So other markets have come back. But the thing is, the market is still down quite a lot. And the Dow, if you look at the Dow and the S&P and everything else, they do look quite technically overbought still, and they look like they can come down quite a bit as well. Okay, so technically the Dow doesn't look very good, and technically certainly the S&P doesn't look very good at all. So, in my mind, the Dow has got a double top or a triple top on it. It looks very overbought to me, and the market could come down quite a lot. Now, don't forget, all markets are connected by cash. So if cash comes out of one market, it's going to literally squeeze another market as well. They're all related in terms of cash, and they're all related in terms of risk. Okay, so risk assets, basically, when risk assets come down, most risk assets will come down. And when we're talking about risk assets, we're talking about equities, which are risk assets. We're talking about emerging market debt spreads, which are risk assets. We're talking about foreign currency, where some foreign currency is seeing more risk asset than others. So, for example, Australian dollars is seen as a risk asset. Emerging market Asian type currencies are seen as risk assets. Yen is seen as safe haven. Norwegian kroner is seen as safe haven. Scandinavian Denmark is seen as safe haven as well. So there's a lot there's a lot of swifting in terms of cash going from one area to another and shifting. And basically, some markets are seen as safe haven and some aren't. What's also seen as safe haven is basically interest rate markets and generally the gold market. So in times of implosion, you'll see that investors tend to buy bonds, and they'll tend to park their money in things that are seen as safe haven, for example. So we could pretty much go to this one here. So we go to the government bond curve, for example. You'll see in most of the G7 countries or the safe haven countries, bonds went down in yield, in other words, up in price. To say if we look at, the Canadian market, bonds went down in yield. If we look at China, bond yields actually went up. If we go back to, say, Denmark, some of those bond yields actually came down. If we go to Germany, bond yields are actually up slightly, and this is tonight actually, but on Friday night these yields would have been down quite a bit. If we look at Italy, that's another story. Bond yields are actually up. And if we go to the US market, yields came down quite substantially, down 7 to 8 pips, and it came down 2 years right through to 30 years. And that's pretty much what people do. They sit in the front end of the yield curve, but they'll also buy bonds in the long end of the yield curve for safe haven. That's pretty much what they do in times of equity market implosions and equity market downturns. Market, we know that the US market, US yen got down to 104.47. Now it's back up to around 105.83 at the moment. Euro did quite well against US on Friday night. Pound did get hit, but it actually went up against the US. They would have bought Swissy and they would have bought yen as well. Aussie did get hit as well. And basically Chinese renminbi got hit as well, and the Canadian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. So some of those have come back a little bit. But any of the currencies that are seen as emerging market debt spread currencies, they would have got hit as well because they've been seen as being risk assets, okay? So that's another thing to keep in mind. If we go to commodities, gold actually got bid on the night. It's done pretty well on the night. The price is past 553, 538 at the moment. Silver doesn't look too bad at $17. A lot of the commodity prices did get taken up. Oil's still around there at $54.59, and some of the softs were actually down. Let's have a quick look at the cryptocurrency market. If we look at the cryptocurrency market, the market has been declining, but it's not doing a lot. It's sort of basing out as far as I'm concerned. It looks like it's going to come down a bit more, but not much. I think it's getting to the end of its downside. So we have a look, just going through. Ethereum Classic's been up, Maker's up, Zcash was up. Just going through very quickly. That down 7%. That's quite a bit for that. Qcoin shares up 243. I like Qcoin actually. Let's just have a look at the what's been doing really well, gainers and losers. If you look at, and all these are fairly small actually. Nothing there that I'd really put my hat on, honestly. Some of the losers. Let's just have a quick squiz here. I like just having a look at the first 100 basically. Ethereum Classic, Tron hasn't done much. US Coin, Zcash as I said. Insight Chain, Quant up 4%. Solve, God knows what that is, up 8%. And Nexo and Synthetic, what's that one? Synthetic something or other. Gosh, it's gone up a lot, 11%. Okay, let's just quickly have a look at the exchange rankings. The daily volume on the exchange. So Tether's been doing the most at the moment. 34% Tether, 30% Bitcoin, Ethereum 11%, Litecoin 4%, EOS 2%, Bitcoin Cash, XRP down nearly 2%, Ethereum 1.48%. And it looks like most of the volume's being done on the Asian exchanges. I don't know what the ZB is. ZB. So a lot of the volume's being done on the Asian exchanges. ZB, where's that come from? ZB Group, I have no idea where that is. ZB Group, Hong Kong. Okay, so ZB Group's Hong Kong, that's interesting. Also, Ethereum's up there, very active, a lot of volume in Ethereum. Ethereum Classic, I should say, EOS, Litecoin, Ethereum, and XRP as well. Okay, that's interesting. Very interesting indeed. So the Asian markets are buying Ethereum Classic as well. Okay, so let's just have a look at adjusted volume, which exchange is doing the most. On the volume, you've got OKEx doing the most, you've got Binance, and you've got BW, and you've got DigiFinance and Coinbeni. A lot of these are Asian exchanges, and we've got to be a little bit careful because we don't actually know what's true volume or what's not true volume, okay? So we really need to look at that. I don't know what Coin Tiger is, but it does sound like an Asian exchange. So, you know, there's been quite a bit of change in the volumes here. Hubi's down here, that's interesting. And the American exchanges seem to be right down. Very interesting indeed. Okay, that's very interesting in itself. What's very interesting about this is obviously all the Asian exchanges are really up on volume, but there's also a lot of tether being done compared to Bitcoin, which I find quite fascinating. And it seems to confirm what I was saying before in the last YouTube, that the Russians are buying tether and converting it from, you know, renminbi or other currency, whether it be the ruble or fiat currency, and converting all that back to Tether. So Tether volume's actually up, but most of these exchanges seem to be the Asian exchanges. So Hubi's Asian, Binance, obviously Malta, BW I think is also Asian. And we know ZB is Hong Kong. And we know that there's a lot of problems going on in Hong Kong at the moment. Essentially, there's riots over there. Over 1 million people are rioting. Plus, the Chinese government are trying to get some sort of control over the Hong Kong people. Now, don't forget that Hong Kong was ruled by the British up until 1997. So the Hong Kong people see themselves very different as the Chinese. And it wouldn't surprise me if they're starting to buy more Tether, but they're also starting to buy more cryptocurrency as well, because they certainly would be worried about their own currency, being the Hong Kong dollar, devaluating and depreciating as well, being the fiat currency that it is. And any unrest is going to actually decrease the value of the Hong Kong dollar as well. So that's not good in itself. We could have a look at that definitely, but it's not going to be a good story for the Hong Kong dollar, that's for sure. So the Chinese thing is very bad, and it's just going to encourage more and more riots, and it's going to encourage more and more concern in terms of what's happening in Asia as well. So we need to keep an eye on that as well. If we look at the coin market cap charts, we've still got this incredible dominance of Bitcoin in the market at the moment at 68.66%. Has been high as you go back to July. Went right down to about 41%, down to 33%, and now it's back up to 68.43%. Even when I looked at the dominance of XRP back in 2017, 2018, the dominance against XRP, the correlation was fairly low. It was around 0.4 as a correlation. Now it's back up to about 0.7. So certainly the Bitcoin dominance has increased quite a bit. And it basically means that altcoins are still very, very cheap as an asset class. So Bitcoin, even though it has the dominance, altcoins themselves are very, very cheap. And we see Bitcoin is still holding above 10,000. And in my view, anything below 10,000 is a buy for Bitcoin. In my view, in terms of XRP, anything above 25 cents is a buy. Certainly if it broke 25 cents, I would just literally, get the truck and literally bring it in as such. I've got some triggers for certain coins. I think anywhere around 50 cents for Litecoin is a buy. Binance, anywhere around $25 is a buy in my mind. Ethereum, EOS I don't particularly like. To me, it's been a $3.5 billion, $4 billion scam. That's my view. Again, I don't like privacy coins, as I've spoken about ages ago. Privacy coins in a government regulation setting are not going to last at all. I cannot see privacy coins lasting when we get government regulation, that's for sure. I haven't liked Stellar. I do not believe that Stellar is anywhere near an XRP. It doesn't have the hardware, doesn't have the network, literally is more centralized than an XRP or Ripple will ever be. If you look at Stellar's nodes, they own something like 30% of their nodes. So they are very, very centralized, and they do have a lot of problems with their network. If you look at their network and what's going on. Again, I don't like Cardano that much. I've gone off Cardano. To me, it's an academic coin. They've basically done nothing. And one thing about academics, you have to be really concerned about how long they take to actually finish their technology and do anything. Doesn't have any clients. It's not generating any income or any revenue or anything else. I do like Tron very much. I think anywhere down here is a great story. Ethereum Classic, I know, has, bounce. But again, I'm not a great lover of Ethereum Classic. It is a fork of Ethereum, and I'm just not a great lover of forks as such. There are other coins that I like, but obviously you have to pay for my subscription if you really wanted to know exactly what I like in most coins. We look at a lot of different coins. I do see there being a lot of opportunity in terms of the altcoin space. Things have come down very, very low. Also, I do see a lot of opportunity in buying nodes and earning income on those nodes, okay? And that's something we actively discuss. If you become a member of Esoteric Trading Solutions in Slack, we actively discuss becoming an owner of nodes, because you can literally earn something like a 20% annual return as annuity base. So there is a lot of opportunity in the crypto space. I do believe the crypto market is basing. I believe this bear market is over soon, and I do believe there's going to be a lot more opportunity going forward, particularly with Facebook coming to the market next year. Yes, we know some of the Facebook partners are being pressured by the government and all sorts of people, and they're thinking maybe they should not support Facebook. Mind you, if they buy a node, it's going to cost them $10 million. But I do believe that Facebook will try to go along with it, ahead of it, along with what they want to do to bring in a coin called Libra. And I do believe that's going to basically bring the masses to the cryptocurrency market next year. So in my mind, there is a lot of opportunity. Anyway, guys, that's enough for this. I hope you're all well. Please look after yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your family and friends. Please be kind to your animals, your pussycats. And please be kind just to strangers in the world and animals in the world, just to make this world a better place. Thank you, guys. And please do look after yourselves. Thank you.